This weekend in Houston, the Red Hot Padres come to town. They come to Daikin Park sizzling with a 15-4 record, leading the NL West, boasting a league best 2.65 ERA. Meanwhile, the Astros are looking to turn things around after a slow 8-10 start. It's a showdown between a powerhouse and a team eager to regain its championship form.
You are Locked On Padres, your daily San Diego Padres podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special Locked On crossover edition of Locked On Astros and Locked On Padres. If Locked On Padres people are listening to my voice, no, I am not Javier Reyes. I am Brett Chancey, otherwise known as H-Town Wheelhouse. You know where to find me. You know where to find the show. Javi, welcome back to the show. I know Eric couldn't be here. We'll talk about that more later. Javi, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
You can find me, as always, on Twitter/X and Blue Sky at Javipeno, Javiipeno, at @Padres as well. Doing stuff over there, man. It's been pretty okay for my team. I know it's been a little bit weird for once for the Astros. But yeah, man, I'm excited. We haven't done a crossover in a while, so looking forward to it.
Awesome. Good deal. Now, is that the Fernando Tatis pre-suspension or post-suspension?
Good question, actually. I don't remember. I think it's post.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I forgot when the friends. I forgot when they sent this over, but yeah, that's a great question.
I had to.
I still got my squirrel friend though, so we're
there.
Good,
you go. Well, usually we're the guys getting the jokes, and so it's good to fire shots across the bow. So this is really a tale of two teams, man. Like I said in the intro, you guys are 15-4, 12-11 in your last 13 games. I mean, you're leading the NL West. I mean, the NL West is a juggernaut of teams that are solid because your fourth place team has the same record as our first place team. We're essentially the AFC South of Major League Baseball, which I guess I don't mind because, Javier, we have tied a record with our own team, 13 games where we have not won more than one game in a row. We have one loss. We've done that for 13 games. And so we lost. We're hoping to get a win tomorrow night. Tell us about your Padres. How pleasant? I mean, are you pleasantly surprised? Is this what you expected? What's the temperature in Padres Nation?
Definitely surprised. I wouldn't say I'm just surprised at individual players. I think it's one of those things where the record and them winning as much as this has been a surprise because bottom line is this was a team that, made it to the NLCS. Made it to the NLDS. They were close to being at the NLCS. And then the Dodgers got a whole lot better. The D-backs got a whole lot better. The Giants, they ostensibly added two big stars in one Jung-Ho Lee. I know he last year, but he didn't play much. So you got him and you added Willy Adames, who's great, really great too. And then the Padres, it was like, oh, okay. Then finally at the end of the offseason, yes, they added Nick Pivetta. They added a little bit of some depth help with Jose Iglesias as well. But for the majority of the offseason, it was like, oh man, was that it? Do we blow our chance? And so far, being at the record they are, leading the NL West, when the NL West is still playing well. That's the other thing. It's not just, wow, really tough start, weird start for the Dodgers, weird start for the D-backs. No, it's all of them have been great. The D-backs are like the best 10-7 team in the league, right? Like they are really, really good. They are just playing like mortals. While the Padres have just stepped up in every situation basically thus far. Have been really shut down, been really good at run prevention so far this year. So that should be a good matchup, at least in theory, for them because of the Astros right now. But it's been nuts, man. But individual performances, not too much, right? I'm not surprised. I'm a tiny bit, maybe, but I'm not surprised that Jackson Merrill has been very good, although he's on the IL right now. I'm not surprised that Fernando Tatis Jr. has been very good. I'm not that surprised at the bullpen. It's just everything coming together and resulting in so many wins, a couple sweeps to start the year, sweeping the Atlanta Braves in 4 right off the bat, right? That's crazy. And then you go to Cleveland and you send them down. And you even managed to finally beat the Rockies. I know that sounds like, why are you bragging about that? But the Padres have been actually really mediocre against one of the worst teams in baseball, the Rockies, over the past 4 years. So man, it's been a lot of fun, pleasant surprise. And I hope for it to continue. That might be biased, but I hope for it to continue.
Well, so the Rockies are to the Padres as the Athletics have been to the Astros.
Okay.
Where, and the Athletics in their own right, in their defense, a lot more competitive over the years. Obviously, Rockies had that one outlier year where they went, had a little deep playoff run. We even got former Rocky Brendan Rodgers as one of our second basemen. And, he's hitting well. But, this team, I talked about it this morning when I went live on ESPN Southwest Louisiana, the flagship station for the Astros out there, as I do every week. And I talked about how Jake Myers and Jose Altuve are carrying this offense. I mean, they have the highest OPS on the team. And when Jake Myers is one of your key cogs in your hitting wheel, that Jake Myers, if you know anything about him, is that he starts off really well. Once you get into May into June, he then cools off and comes down to earth. I mean, he's hitting 67. He's not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. But, Jose Altuve came out firing, was hitting 429 early in the year. I think he's down to like 320 or something now. But he's hitting, Yordan only has 2 home runs. Jeremy Pena, Jose Altuve both have 3. The home runs have not come. The pitching has been really good, has been really solid. We have now, I think, a solid 7, 8, 9. At least I'm crowning Brian King, the 7-inning guy. Brian Abreu, our 8th inning guy, obviously, and Josh Hader, who has been great in save chances this year. So he's actually gone multiple innings more than once. And I know about Josh Hader. He was there for a short while. So where this team is, I don't think is where they will be at the end of the season. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I know, and I'm not trying to knock the Padres down, but that's an incredibly competitive division. Yeah. And to think that the Dodgers stay in third place and the Padres stay in first the whole season, I think there's going to be some jockeying for position with you guys and them. And I really think it's a race between you guys and the Dodgers, if I'm being perfectly honest. But I mean, there's not many losses that separate the top 3 spots.
No. This is a division that, and I've been saying it all year, and it's not like a unique opinion, but maybe this could be, finally, it gets talked about a lot, the year where you get 3 playoff teams from the same division. Because I think the Giants, to an extent, I'm not fully buying their starting pitching, but I love their offense. I think that their defense is great. They're hitting at the right time. And then the D-backs, I think, are incredibly good. And they've been awesome the past year. Last year, their entire pitching staff exploded, and they were still really good. So I think that team's going to be fantastic, too. And the Padres do, admittedly, while they have basically top-end talent that can compete with LA, the depth can at least be an issue every now and then. Don't get me wrong. It's not a giant issue, as I think some others make it out to be. But yeah, man, for sure. And I think that in your defense for the Astros, it's kind of one of those teams where the reasons they've been bad, at least offensively, I kind of don't fully believe. Like, I don't believe that Yordan Alvarez is just going to be a 99 WRC plus guy, right? Like, this is not going to be a below average hitter. He's one of the best just offensive players in the game, not like full stop. You got your Shoheis, your Trouts when healthy, your Judges. And you really do have Yordan Alvarez. Like, it's actually a fun debate to talk about. Like, kind of better than Bryce Harper right now. It's just Bryce Harper's more famous. He's got the moments and all that. But Yordan Alvarez is a freak. And I think that Christian Walker, free agent signing, he's not going to be a 52 WRC plus guy. Yainer Diaz, I just think that there are some guys in this lineup that I'm like, that will get better. But it is also true that they lost Kyle Tucker. You know what I mean? They lost Alex Bregman. So what happens there, I think, is going to be the question for not just this series, but for the rest of the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, Alex Bregman just had his first 5-hit game the day after he came off his second child being born. I remember when Knox was born here, like the next game he came off and hit a home run. He kind of has this dad strength thing where like he's like showing off for his kids. What a cool position to be in, right? What a neat position. And look, I'm glad to see them succeeding. They both gave their all to this city, but it's also painful to watch because you're like, man, Alex Bregman's never had this hot of a start. He's been a classic slow starter. And Kyle Tucker, I mean, really, if there's anybody in Chicago that they need to sign, Kyle Tucker's that guy because they haven't had that star since maybe like Chris Bryant had his fall off, Anthony Rizzo had his fall off. They really haven't had anybody in Chicago in a long time, but we'll talk more about that. I want to talk about the Padres and the Astros strengths going into this series after we hear about our friends at Amazon Fire TV here next.
Before we get back to the pod with H-Town, guys, just got to talk to you a little bit about Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time, and with Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or for a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Helps you find the right talent. It's fast and easy with all the hiring. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, with multiple qualified candidates to choose from. And cost-effective growth as well. Instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps find affordable, top-tier freelancers to scale your business efficiently. So visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork, UPWORK.com. Upwork.com one more time to connect with top talent and grow your business today.
All right, how's that for a quick hat change? Welcome to Locked On Astros. We are your team every single day. Eric is not here tonight. He is not feeling well. Man, we have been hit by it, dude. Not only are the Astros going through it, we've been going through it. We're both teachers, Javi, and let me tell you, it is the end of the year. And look, I love every one of my kids in my classroom, but they are already in summer mode, and we still got 5 weeks left.
Man, I relate to them kids because, man, when it was like the senioritis was real with me, man. I don't even I'm just going to be honest with you. High school, I don't remember going to class. I went to class, but I don't remember, I think I just would walk out at points like that. Those last 3 weeks were gold, man. I miss it so much.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah.
The things we took for granted. Now, I think the Padres' strength, really, when you look at your roster, obviously you've got your superstars offensively, but this weekend, Javi, when I look at your team, and we maybe can dive into this, but tell me, do you feel like your strength is pitching? Because y'all got Hart going Friday, you've got King going on Saturday, and Dylan Cease going on Sunday. I know Dylan Cease hasn't had a great start to the year, but he's still Dylan Cease. I mean, is that y'all's strength because you said offensively, individually, guys aren't performing, or what is it for you right now early on?
So for the Padres' strength is kind of boring. It's that Fernando Tatis Jr. is having one of those seasons where he might just carry an entire offense, and there's only a few players in the league that can do that, right? I even honestly think that Yordan is one of those players as well when he's healthy, at least from the batting perspective, because he's mostly a DH. But I think that it's that I think the starting pitching has room to grow. Kyle Hart's going to be interesting. He's kind of had two pretty solid starts and then a nightmare start, granted against the Chicago Cubs, but when they hit him hard, and he wasn't locating his pitches. So he's coming back to Major League Baseball. So if there's one game that I'm I'm not saying that the Astros will win this one or vice versa, but it is one where I'm going to be interested to see. How far can he get, I think, is the key. He doesn't have to go crazy, and hopefully the Astros can keep slumping. You know what I mean? Yordan, wake up next series. You know what I mean? That beast that lurks in that body of his, right? Save it for whoever you're playing next, right? Maybe that happens. But if it doesn't, then the thing becomes the Padres bullpen. That is unabashedly their strength. It is the best bullpen in baseball. The fact that they have a guy like Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta, who's having a bounce back, he's inducing a great ground ball rate. He strikes out everybody. And then you've got Yuki Matsui, who is this really not undersized. You don't use that term in baseball, but he's this small sort of guy who doesn't have the best fastball in the world, not the best velo, but the splitter, the sinker. He gets guys to swing at some of the most out of zone stuff in the entire league. In terms of the top 6 pitchers in Major League Baseball right now, in terms of induced vertical break, 3 of them are Padres. That's Nick Pivetta, who we talked about in the first segment, Yuki Matsui, and then the last one, Jeremiah Estrada, who's a high leverage guy, and he's the one who brings the fire. He brings the energy, and this guy's untouchable. Astros fans might even remember from last year. He was the the player that the Padres called up who struck out at one point 13 batters in a row. Like, that dude is an absolute stud. And then you've got Robert Suarez, who just throws heat after heat. And then he's the one that's really calm. You know what I mean? Jeremiah Estrada is the one that's like pumping himself up. And then Suarez, he comes in the crazy musical play, and he's just like, okay, all right, change up now. Gonna throw 102 real quick. All right. And with Robert, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he throws really hard, and then you have his changeup, which has gotten a lot better this year. I was a little bit worried about him heading into this year. It's not that he can't be hit, especially with some of these guys in this Astros lineup, but the changeup is what's key. Just having to face this mixture of speed. He goes right after guys sometimes in a confident way. I think it's the Padres bullpen. So if Kyle Hart can just go full 5 innings, maybe even just 4 2/3, I think that the Padres are like, that's good. That's what we need, because we trust our offense to get enough, and we know that our bullpen is just absolutely ridiculous, and we're getting more guys back from the IL soon.
Well, I tell you this, you guys dodge a bullet in not having to face Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown has been excellent. You do get Ryan Gusto. Ryan Gusto is a rookie. He's going to make his second major league start against y'all Friday. He's got a lot of good stuff, man. This dude can absolutely throw the rock. He has got gas on the mound. Wisniewski has been a great, pleasant surprise in that he's our 5th starter, but he's come in and he's done the job admirably. Struck out 11 batters, career high for him. He was underutilized and improperly utilized in Chicago as a reliever, going back and forth. And they're like, you're going to be our 5th starter. I actually got to interview him before he started the season. What his brother plays with some guys that I know that pitch for St. Thomas University here in Houston. And I was really impressed with Hayden's just mindset going into the season. Look, it's a new club. I'm just going to do what I can do. I know I'm a starter. I'll do what the Astros asked me to do. And that's all he's ever done. He's a great kid. He's from Cy-Fair. So we got him. Unfortunately, Arrighetti is on the IL. He got beamed in the hand at BP. I don't know if you saw that. He broke his pitching thumb.
No. Okay.
He was out in the outfield, and he tried to duck. And when he put his hand over his head, the ball hit his thumb, broke his thumb. But he's also a Houston kid. But, we got Framber Valdez. We have Hunter Brown. I know some people here they're not too keen on Framber right now, but Hunter Brown, I think, is the ace of this ball club. I think he's the future ace. I think he's got ace material. And some people say we may have waited too long to sign him to an extension. Other people say we still have another year. But he did sign Scott Boras on as his agent. Scott Boras hasn't treated us terribly. He's given us a deal with, Altuve and some others. With Bregman, it didn't work out. But I think right now our strength is probably out, 3 or 4 of our starting pitchers. And then in our bullpen, not everybody in the bullpen is nails, but I think Brian King, I think Brian Abreu, when he comes in, Josh Hader, that's where our strength is. Our strength should be Altuve, Paredes, Walker, Yordan, Diaz. But hey, Cam Smith, look, Cam Smith's only hitting 200 right now. But I think Cam Smith hitting 200 is more a side effect, not of him being a rookie, but being around other 200 hitters. Hitting, I believe, and winning is contagious. And I think once this club starts hitting, you're going to see a lot more confidence down to the bottom of the lineup. But our strength can be Yordan. Our strength can be Walker. But, man, a lot of people are down on Christian Walker. A lot of people are like, is this another Jose Abreu? And I'm like, 2 different stories. Yeah. But, and he just, dude, this is a guy that used to play in y'all's division. This guy hits bombs.
So I was going to bring him up. Like, is that the guy that's like, we're the team to be like, hey, I remember these guys. I'm going to hit well against these guys. But I feel you, man. There's just, and Cam Smith, a guy who, if you look at like FanDuel odds, was like plus 6,600 for Rookie of the Year. And then when they announced him as a starter, it started becoming this narrative of like, hey, not only did they get Isaac Paredes, which is a good player, and I know he's had like a really good stretch lately. I think it seems like they're like, we really liked Cam Smith, and we'll see. Maybe he's doing the thing where everybody like, who is that guy on the Houston Texans who is in fantasy football, a running back that's really good, but like everybody got a little bit too excited about the offseason stuff, so they drafted him too high. I'm blanking on his name.
You talking about Arian Foster?
No, not Arian Foster. It was like a couple years ago. I forget his name. Okay. And he's like a fine player. that they got in like a late round, right? Like a little bit of an afterthought. And then the hype was a little bit, it was like, they love this guy, but whoa. I think that's what's happened with Cam Smith, where he's just regular classic, like not everyone can be, to toot my own horn, Jackson Merrill, where you're just a freak immediately.
Right.
Still not out on Cam Smith, but all those things combined, I think you're right. I think starting pitching could be a thing here. Whether or not Christian Walker wakes up against us, I could also see being a storyline for sure. So it's starting pitching versus bullpen, and it's Tatis and I guess at this point probably Manny Machado versus Isaac Paredes and Jose Altuve when it comes to like the stars, I think, of this series.
Right, exactly. So when I'm looking at your lineup, of course, I mean, I automatically go to Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
It looks like Manny. So when I look at them versus like just the Astros right now, wow. I mean, you got the Padres versus Wesneski. Oh, hold on. Okay, y'all have actually played against Wesneski because he was with the Cubs. Okay, I'm sitting here looking at these averages against Wesneski. Wow, holy crap. Hold on. Why am I on the 19th? Let me go to the 18th. I'm putting the cart before the horse here. I'm trying to see how you guys match up against, well, I guess I'm trying to look at y'all's. Tell me where you guys are with your top three hitters. Give me your top three hitters. Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and who else is out there?
And probably Jackson Merrill. He is not going to be available for this series. That is
that's right. He's on the IL.
That's the other thing. So it's probably Tatis, Manny Machado, and then weirdly enough, Gavin Sheets, which is a really weird name, but he's rocking a 145 WRC plus. You're not going to see him necessarily every game, depending on righty-lefty matchups. He does not hit at all against lefties. You might see Yuli Gurriel in this series, right? Like your old friend.
Wow, Yuli.
Yeah. Not a fan because he hasn't been very good, and I don't really know what they're doing with him there. But they usually play him a little bit against righty.
And don't y'all have Machete? Don't you have Martin Maldonado?
Yes, we did. Yes, we do. We have Martin Maldonado, who's had a couple moments for the team. He's still just a backup catcher, but for the most part, this is a lineup that has gotten contributions from everybody when they have needed it. Xander Bogaerts will be a question mark for this series. He's kind of the only thing. He's been hitting the ball a little bit harder. He's been walking a lot more. He's showing something of at least not being a disaster, but there's been very clear evidence that it looks like the Padres probably overpaid for this one and, made a little bit too much of an investment there, but it's just been amazing. I mean, Tatis is rocking a 193 WRC plus, man. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah. No, it is. But, I mean, at least we didn't pay $760 million for a guy to go 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts like Juan Soto in New York. So we have that going for us. I'm sorry.
That was mean. That was mean. He'll be fine. He got 390 on base,
I know, but good Lord, come on, man. You getting $760 million? You need to not have 3 strikeouts in a 5 at-bat game. But I digress. But when I am looking at team batting for you guys, it basically comes down to y'all have put runners on and you've scored them, where the Astros don't even get opportunities. The Astros don't even have runners on. But you know what? I want to talk about that next, but
one more break, guys. And the folks, the everydayers that I got here, that I love Supply House, because when you need to get the supplies for the skilled trades, Supply House, plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, it is the most reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with an order, do not worry. Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, folks. And now it's your turn. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5. Get it? S and H for Supply House. SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Go check it out.
All right, now let's get back to the important stuff. Javier was kind of late on the break there, but hey, we got to pay the sponsors. We got to pay the guys that pay the bills. So let's wrap up our show with this. do we have one playoff team here, or do we have two playoff teams? And that could be one playoff team in the Padres or Astros, or two playoff teams in the Padres and Astros. What do you think is the higher probable thing going forward? Now, we're projecting out for 15% of the season gone. We are putting the cart before the horse. But what do you think?
It's a good question. And I'm probably going to annoy people with this, but I think I might go Astros because I just think the National League is really stacked. I really do. I just think that you've got the Mets, you've got the Braves, you've got the Phillies. Well, the Braves have been bad, but I don't know. Part of me is just like, are they going to be this bad? Like, that's pretty crazy for a team this favored to be that bad.
They've been very bad. Yeah. Uncharacteristically bad. Yeah.
NL Central only division that's like, this probably isn't going to be a thing. But then you've got Giants, D-backs, Padres, and Dodgers. I'm just like, there's a world in which the Padres win 90 games, but then everybody else won 91. You know what I mean? And they lose a tiebreaker or something like that. I remember, I always love bringing this up, but back in 2020 or 2012, I'm sorry, I believe it was the year when the regular season, the last game of the year, people might remember this, literally decided playoff seeding and like who was going to make it. The Rays, Evan Longoria, like walked off the Yankees, and that sent them to the postseason. Like it was wild. That could happen this year, right? That could happen this year. And I see a commenter saying, the Padres are going to the World Series this year and they could get Alcantara from the Marlins. That would be sick. However,
look at this.
That's another big thing.
Look, you got some more love. Padres.
Yeah, I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you, Miss Scott. Thank you.
And look, another one. Padres can't let me down this season, honestly. Look at that. You got some love from H-Town, man.
I love that. I love that so much. I love the folks. I think that the one thing I will say about the Alcantara thing, and I think one thing that the Padres do not have compared to maybe some other teams, is the farm system's a little weak. So I don't know what they're going to be able to do if things go wrong, if they need to tinker at the deadline. Unless the Marlins are ridiculous and they just have to give up a little bit for Sandy. I don't necessarily foresee that. I don't think they need that, though. I think they just need to make minor kind of additions at the deadline. I don't think they have to make a big one because, frankly, I don't want to give up the remaining two prospects that are really, really important that they still have. So we'll see how that goes. But I just think that, Mariners, unfortunately, I mean, great pitching staff. Obviously, everybody knows that, probably the best in the game, frankly. But that's a team that basically, because of ownership, has been like, Julio Rodriguez has to be what Tatis is doing right now in order for you guys to be like a great team, right? It wouldn't shock me if the AL Central has some regressions. I think the Astros can be better than the Guardians, than the Tigers, than the Royals. I could see that. AL East gets a little bit weird because I think the Yankees are going to be solid. I think that the Orioles are going to be solid. I think the Red Sox could be great, but likely solid. So maybe that gets a little bit weird. I just don't see teams that are so obviously going to be great the way that I do in the National League.
No, I think that
Phillies are going to be awesome. Like it's a lot. It's a lot to compete against.
Well, Javier, too, all the moves, all the big stars signing the National League. And of course, we're over here going, we're losing all our guys. And then we're like, but they're all going to the National League except Bregman.
Yeah, I know, right?
Everybody's going to beat up on each other. Otani, Tucker, and Juan Soto, they can't all go to the World Series, and so, that's wild to me because, and this is where I think we need to do a realignment of the league. I think we need two conferences like basketball, like football, and I think they need to do seeding because you'll have a team that because they're a certain place in a division that will get in the playoffs when you got other, when you have a team, it was funny. I don't know if you follow Fact Sports on X. It is the parody. Yeah, so he said Rob Manfred decided that that only 3 teams will be allowed from the National League in the playoffs, and they are the Padres, the Giants, and the Dodgers, or something like that. Talking about how good you guys have been. But honestly, I see both of us going. Now, I see it. The only reason why I see y'all not making it is because of the strength of the National League, not because y'all don't do it. But the reason why I see the Astros not doing it possibly is they just don't get their stuff together. Last year they got 11 games down and came roaring back and did something that only one other team had done.
Not usually sustainable for you to be able to do that multiple years. You can't just, in baseball, that's just not usually how it works. Yeah, I agree with that. And the conference thing is interesting. Not to totally hijack the point, but unlike those other sports, it's at least a conversation to have, because in baseball, the reason these central teams, like in football, could just be like, well, they're bad right now. It happens.
Right.
In basketball, you don't have a star or whatever. You didn't get the lottery, whatever. But in baseball, it's like, yeah, you know why the central teams are bad? Because their ownership refuses to spend. I mean, look at the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have a generational star, as Jeff Passan went on ESPN and talked about, and they still haven't signed anybody. They haven't done anything. They have not signed a player to a multi-year contract in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. So unlike the other sports where I think partially it's like, I'm not doing the AFC South needs to be, sent down to the minors,
right,
because it's just bad right now. Right. It happens.
Right.
But for baseball, I'm like, it feels by choice for some of these teams. So it's at least a conversation to be had for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would love that. I would love an American League and National League. And you can have your little Southwest division like you do in NBA, but literally rank them. And you know what? If you want to have a play-in bracket, like the wild card, call it the play-in tournament, you could do that. It's kind of a thing, and it's kind of a trend. And if you want to get more teams involved too, that could also be a thing, because then more teams are relevant, more tickets are sold, because we know it's all about the money. But hey, man, this has been great, Javier. We would love to come on your show anytime. Let us know. Once again, guys, if you have not subscribed to Locked On Padres, I know you're going to do it right after you leave the show. I know you're going to go like and comment on all his episodes. This weekend, you're going to see what the Padres do in their collapse to the Astros. I'm joking.
Hey, man, it could happen. You never know. These things change. It's baseball.
Well, the last time I went to a Padres Astros game, it was Tatis pimping a home run and doing his little like step back.
Was it the medallion phase? Was that
2021? It was
oh my God. That was the one that like made me cry. I was like, I felt so blessed. Like it was the one where it was like 2 outs at the bottom of the ninth, maybe.
Yeah, I was there. Because
Altuve, that's crazy.
I believe Altuve had hit a home run to give the Astros the lead. We were like, yeah.
I was with my friends visiting friends for the first time too.
Oh man, I was
with my friend in DC, and we were at a Nationals game, and we were watching on the phone. And it'd been the first time I'd seen friends since like the world ended, right, in 2020.
Wow.
First time I like saw people in person for a while, so it was a lot of fun. And we're at the Nationals game, we have it on the thing, and we're like, oh, like we didn't get we just couldn't believe it. Like it was that was back during like the golden age of Tatis.
Oh yeah, it was like also in
back, so we'll see.
It was when Taylor Jones dropped the pop-up that would have ended the game.
I remember the game.
I remember that. Oh man. Wow.
And that version of Tatis is what we've been getting so far this year, striking out less than he is walking, right? He is so much more locked in at the plate. He's not being fooled by outside stuff. And
I'm not excited about that.
No one should be. And it's a genuine new plate approach. With 2 strikes, he widens his stance. Otherwise, not as much of a lay kick. He lets it come to him.
That's awesome.
Very scared of him. He's been awesome.
Well, man, in the spirit of the late great Tony Gwynn, I'll just say this: I'll never forget. I've got two memories that are imprinted on my brain. One, watching Tony Gwynn out in right field and see a ring of sunflower seeds by the end of the game in the Astrodome, and then Kevin freaking Brown. And that's all I'll say. Kevin Brown. Oh man, we should have won that year, Javi. But no, the freaking Padres got in the way.
Yeah, Padres low key can be like a thorn in the Astros sight. It's really, I love when teams have like the random rival where it's like Chargers, Broncos, when Peyton Manning with the Chargers. It's like, why are the Chargers like your rival? Like, I like random ones, not like historic ones. Historic ones are great too. But it's just funny when it's like, why is that like for us? It's the Rockies. Like, what's going on?
Because
right now?
That was the year. That was the year we got the big unit. That was the year we got Randy Johnson, and he was killing it.
Oh,
yeah, 98. I mean, that was gonna be the team that like went all the way. And nope. Thanks, San Diego. So you know what? We're still mad about that, and we hope we beat the brakes off the guys today this weekend.
We'll see. We shall see, man. Going to be a fun series for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, y'all have a good one. That's for me, for myself, from Eric, and everybody at Locked On Astros, Locked On Padres, our 15-person production group behind the scenes. Y'all have a good one. This has been a mammoth show. This has been a great show. Javier, thank you so much. Bless you, sir. Have a happy Easter weekend, and we shall see you soon.